cut off, a bit remote, isn't it? Which is great as well, because it means no one can find you. And we live on a dead-end road here, so you don't get all the local cyclists riding by, nosing in the windows and stuff. I was always a bit of a loner and always drifted off. That's why I got my shed down the bottom of the garden. I go down there and get away from it all. I grew up in Kilburn in London. No one ever became doctors or anything from our schools and things, you know. So to be at the Olympics at 20 was like massive for me then, really.
How many Olympic medals have you won?
3 golds, a couple of bronzes and a silver. Got to 28 and it was like, I was sort of getting a bit sick of it, to be honest. So it was like, right, so let's just go on the road now. And I finished 4th in the Tour, so that then gave me the ticket then for like, bloody hell, now the next 7-8 years, this is it now, you're going to try and win the Tour.
What would you rather win this year, the Tour de France or Olympic gold?
Both. Yeah, I'm greedy.
How would you describe the Tour de France to someone?
3 weeks long, average 6 hours a day on your bike, racing up mountains, racing down mountains.
About 60 miles an hour. I've seen speeds of 70 miles an hour.
Another British cyclist, David Miller, described it as romantic, steeped in folklore and mythology.
Yeah. I haven't got that vocabulary to explain it like that. It's bloody hard, if that's what he means.
Oh, they've gone down.
He also said it's tragic, because people can be winning, but then they lose it all, or crash out and fight on and break their bones, but get on their bike to finish it.
Yeah, it's bloody hard, yeah. Every rider that starts the Tour wants to finish the Tour in Paris to see the Eiffel Tower. It's like a legendary thing. You grow up wanting to ride around the Champs-Élysées. I can't think what it'd be like to ride onto the Champs-Élysées in the yellow jersey.
Do you ever allow yourself to think that?
Occasionally, yeah. Then obviously the challenge of doing the Olympics 10 days later is going to be the difference between being a good bike rider and being a great bike rider.
It's a day British cycling has long awaited, a new homegrown professional team to take on the world.
The ambition, of course, is to get the first ever British winner of the Tour de France. Do you the man to do it?
I don't want to sound too much like a politician, but we'll do everything we can to be as good as we can in July.
At the helm is Dave Brailsford, the man who masterminded Britain's 8 golds at the Beijing Olympics.
We're going out there with some, with some really big goals and lofty goals, and we're serious about it. But it is a big moment in time in terms of sort of cycling history. I don't like clutter. I don't like things to distract me. I don't like too much on the wall, and I like white. And I like to be able to see everything all mapped out. So if you're, as if you're in your little helicopter above everything, and look at everything, and I'll draw all the team out and all the different departments, and then I can see it all. When I can see it all, then I can take it all in, and I like to be able to see it all. And so that's why I draw constantly on my whiteboard.
He's sort of more than the boss, because I've been through 3 Olympic cycles with Dave, and he's always been like a bigger brother, really. We've been out in the piss together, in untold times.
How do you get on with him?
With who? With Bradley?
Yeah.
We kind of, we've, over the years we've been out, had nights out together and had a lot of fun together. But I wouldn't say I'm particularly close.
Not a big brother you've always get on with, but a big brother nonetheless who's in charge, sort of thing.
I like Bradley a lot, yeah, but I'm not close to anybody. I don't have friends, none of the riders are my friends.
No, you can't, can you?
No, but I don't have many friends anyway, to be honest, if I'm honest about it. I'm pretty lonely. Not lonely, I'm not lonely, but I mean, I'm a loner.
So do you clash occasionally?
Yeah, massively at times, yeah. Not necessarily to each other's faces, it's more between a go-between like Shane Sutton.
I'm never home, so yeah, this is where I live, and been here about 10 years, top of Wheels.
Above a bike shop?
Yeah. I like the simple things, and I think that's attributes to, you know, my style of coaching as well. It's always about doing the simple things well.
You've got an OBE.
Yeah. Other buggers' efforts.
How did you come to be his coach?
Well, as much as he'll hate me saying this, but, you know, all of a sudden the guy's, you know, gone from earning peanuts to a decent living. And I think he became a little bit of a rock star.
This is Bradley Wiggins. We need to look at his face. He's looking as though it's beginning to hurt, but it should be. It's near.
I let myself go quite a bit after finishing fourth in the Tour. Put a lot of weight on. Was drinking quite heavily. The people I'd put round me at the team, I kind of manipulated them. I'm really bad for that.
The team around him were us 24/7. Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. He's just PB'd on a mountain in Girona. He's best he's ever been. Best he's ever been. He got the Tour. He couldn't pull the foreskin off a rice pudding.
And look at the gap as Wiggins hits the line. 1 minute and 3/4 lost to the men he's trying to beat here.
We called Brad in for a meeting and said, at this rate, you're going to lose your job. And then he just turned around in front of Dave and myself and said, well, I want you to coach me. I just thought, oh, this is a nightmare. Brad's a difficult character the best of times. But the team wasn't travelling well. We'd had 12 months' experience, and it was a bad experience, to be honest. And I said, OK, I'll tell you what, we'll take the bull by the horns.
He's like the father I had never had, because my grandfather sort of brought me up. But since I've been racing, he's been like a father figure to me, really.
You know, I love him like a son, but at the end of the day, I've still got to be able to give him a belt around the ear hole every now and then, like I would my own son.
Yeah, I mean, if I told him to come over here on Christmas Eve, because I needed him here for a training session on Christmas morning, he would be here and sleep in a sleeping bag in my garage or something. That's the kind of person he is.
And can he really win it?
Well, when's this film coming out?
Next year.
I actually think he's missed his chance. If Brad was ever going to win the Tour, it was last year.
Oh dear.
Bradley Wiggins is in that crash, and that is a...
Last year, Brad Wiggins should have been drinking champagne, approaching the Champs-Elysees. And unfortunately...
First of all, it's the collarbone that can get popped.
I'm not ashamed to admit I flipping lost the plot big style. And I was climbing the walls. It was bad. Poured myself a whiskey shot, as you do. When he rang me, bless him, it was only about 20 minutes later. Bella speaks to Bradley on the phone and she goes, Bradley Wiggins has crashed.
I said, yeah, I know he did, yeah. She didn't associate me with being the same person who's on the telly.
That's how she processes it in her head, because then if you say to her, who's Bradley Wiggins, she'll go, well, it's Daddy.
Two different people.
Sort of. Well, he is, really. I think he is.
How would you describe Bradley?
Well, which Bradley? Bradley the cyclist or Bradley, my husband?
Both.
Right, my husband, he's brilliant, right, he is. He's proper good, considerate, patient, kind, brilliant with the kids, really appreciative of me and the family. He's good. I wish I could have him all the time, but I can't have him all the time. Because then there's this cyclist, and he's a bit of a... am I allowed to... He's a bit of... Yeah. He's selfish. He's like he's a train going through. Everything else is around him is scattered, regardless of childbirth, moving house, whether I'm sick or not, anything. And that's... He's not doing it out of because he is cruel or selfish. He's doing it just because he can't see, because that is where he's going, basically. So, yeah.
Everything we do out here is all towards July. And you know all the roads, it's like Scale Electric's track for cyclists here.
And you were training alone today?
Which is how I prefer it, actually, because then I'm in my own little world and there's no distraction. It's when I work best is when I'm on my own. I might be thinking about my kids or what they're getting up to at the moment, or only 5 days to go and I get to go home.
Bradley is definitely hard to figure out. From my experience racing with him, he tends to be more insular. He doesn't have the charisma of a rider who will lead a team. He's not someone who will get up and say, all right, guys, we got to do this, and I need you tomorrow. And if you're there for me, I'll win.
And how would you describe Bradley?
Precise, very calculated, professional.
He's a funny one, Brad. Like he's real shy.
And who's the team leader?
Leader. One and only.
Are you a natural leader?
Not really, no. I mean, the first year I was diabolical, I was bloody useless, really. And just not leading at all, and it's not something that comes easy to me. All them guys are looking to me, and I find it difficult to give a kind of big speech about, let's go out there, guys, let's do this, let's do that. And the only way I can do it is to perform on the bike for them.
Place au classement général. Allez, on lève les mains, on applaudit plus fort encore. Bradley Wiggins, triple champion olympique, 7 fois champion.
If you want to win the Tour de France, you're probably going to have to defend the yellow jersey. And you can only do it by practicing it. So we need to be in the yellow jersey in previous races somewhere down here. So then you'd start drawing a picture over here to get up here of winning races and a number of days in yellow jersey. And then in the yellow jersey, you've got to go and do the media. You've got to go to the podium and all those things that really piss Bradley off. You know they will. So actually, the way to get him to not let it piss him off when he gets to the Tour, he's done it a lot. And it becomes part of his routine.
Vous avez peur de perdre le maillot jaune?
Un peu, ouais. Il y a toujours... Ouais, on sait jamais. Hein.
What's the headline on their front page?
Wiggins sends a message. It's massive. It's a lovely thing to have on your Palmares, you know. And for me, it's probably my biggest victory.
Ça fait.
Voilà, ça fait. Vous aussi, vous aviez les pattes. Merci. Donc.
It was pandemonium at the top of Col d'Azy.
For the minute I'm finished, you know, to being on the podium. At that point, you still haven't sunk in what you've just achieved, you know, and you're expected to answer all these questions to the world's press. The sort of one-liners come out, you know, he's peaked too early. You can't win Paris-Nice and the Tour in the same year.
Just continue working hard.
You just got to treat the press like they're stupid. They don't really know what they're talking about.
Continue that progression towards July, really.
And a lot of the time, I can't really say what I think because I just get in trouble. You got to give all the kind of key messages and all this sort of stuff.
It's certainly all on track, yeah.
So you end up just like a robot, really.
And you've got to go out on your bike now?
Now I've got to go out, yeah.
We'll let you get on with it.
Right, cheers.
He's a guy that you can feel that you know but don't really know. It's difficult because as a journalist, you're not supposed to be friends with people. But often with an athlete, a rider, you establish some kind of connection, and I found that quite difficult with him, for reasons that I'm not really too clear on. He can be quite rude sometimes, he can be very prickly. He's been described to me as quite a shy person, and like a lot of shy people who find themselves in a public spotlight, he has obviously ways of coping with that.
There is something about me that's not quite all there. I'm a bit of a hermit at heart, and I like being shut off from the world, really, and not able to get hold of. But I think that also that's what makes me the athlete I am. You know, this is the one place when I'm sort of, you know, untouchable, as it were, really.
There's quite a lot of bike pictures in here, actually.
Yeah, I got given a lot of stuff over the years and have accumulated stuff that I've been given, or some of the ones that people I really like, you know, like Robert Miller.
The two arms are all we want to see now, and there they are. Miller's won the stage in the Tour de France.
What was it you liked about Robert Miller?
I can empathise with him a little bit in his character. Everyone said he was strange and weird, difficult to deal with. I like that about him, that he was his own man, really. He didn't give a f*** about anyone else or what anyone thought. You know, and he'd disappear and retreat, and it'd be difficult to get hold of. I've had a couple of emails off him the last couple of years and talking about the tour and stuff, and he's a lovely guy, and he just likes his privacy, really, and I think I can empathise with that.
I was at the dinner where he bid for that shirt, and it reflects very well on him, because there is this paradox about him, that he's got this real sense of cycling history, and yet his whole approach to this tour especially has been very methodical, calculating. So there's this paradox of the romantic on one side and the computer, the machine on the other side.
Okay, so what are we looking at then, Tim?
I think we can just do sort of a general review of that little bit of downtime over Christmas, and then 23, 17, 21 and 29 through the race last week.
Tim, what's your official title?
With the team, I'm head of performance support.
He fixes the computers. The brains. Yeah, he's that guy out of James Bond film where he comes up with all the ideas and the gadgets and all that sort of stuff, don't you, basically?
You can measure the power being produced by a rider. Essentially, you end up with a power curve.
So where is Bradley on that curve at the moment?
Well, I think that's what we're just about to look at, really. So, I mean, if you continue, Tim, with your...
If you didn't interrupt us.
Yeah, exactly.
His average power was 440 or 441 watts over half an hour.
He is now better than any time during last year.
Yeah.
Over a 30-minute period.
Over 30 minutes, yeah. It's a shame the tour's not only 30 minutes.
How does Bradley respond to the numbers?
Well, I think
Tim can answer that one.
I think he's coachable.
Yeah, I mean, Brad, on the one hand, sometimes he says, not interested, I'll just do what I'm told, but actually I think he uses the numbers quite a lot.
The numbers don't lie, and the good thing is, nor does Brad. He actually doesn't lie to us anymore. He'll just turn around, ring up and say, look, I left the house, I got out there, I was sitting 400 watts, I couldn't produce anything else, so I decided to call it a day.
Numbers alone aren't the answer. Road racing is very hard to explain and define. You only really know about it when you've done it. The Sky experience, if you like, has been about achieving a balance between the number crunching and the old school fact that in road racing you have to get on your bike and suffer for 5 hours a day.
It's nice, isn't it? What? Yeah, right up your street, yeah. Can't do everything in a lab type thing, you know? You could probably simulate this on an indoor bike machine with a video and all the grades and all this and that, but like you say, it's not the same as actually being out here and riding it, you know, and feeling the potholes and see where the speed humps are and this, that and the other, you know?
I'll change bikes now.
It's very bleak round here, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, this is what France is like. It's quiet, not much going on in general. But once a year, the Tour de France comes to town for the day, and it's the biggest thing that's ever happened, and people love it. Ça passe par là, le Tour.
We should have gone just about there, Brady, to the right, so we might go, I reckon, go
and do that.
Do that.
So we don't actually come down here, forget what I said about coming down here. Yeah, this guy, ain't he typically French? Look at that. It's like a scene from Hello, Hello, isn't it?
There's two Bradleys. On the bus, he is the laughing soul of the party. Then you have the real serious side. I think, you know, there's a kid there that's got still probably a lot of anger from his childhood, from what happened with Gary and, you know, how that relationship ended up, which is a shame.
When I first come across Bradley, he was 2 weeks old. I remember holding him in my arms and looking at him.
You knew his dad, Gary?
I did. That's right. What do you want me to say about Gary?
Well,
I mean,
what can you say about Gary?
All bike riders who are successful need to have a single-mindedness. But most of us have some sort of line at which point you say, well, hold on, this is enough now. But Gary didn't have a line.
Hey, let's just say Gary was a wild bastard. I wouldn't say Gary was a great person. You get a few drinks into him, and like most Aussies, you know, they want to knock down trees and party and fight and get up and drink and have a drink with a bloke that you've kicked out the night before, and that's the way it works, you know. And Gary was one of them guys. He's a pretty rough diamond, really.
He started to get success in the end. I think it went to his head a little bit, and he abandoned Bradley.
He left us, so we had nowhere to live, so we came back to my nan's.
My husband bought him his first bike when he was about 3 years old from Selfridges. It was a red rally and it had stabilisers on it. When Bradley's there, he said, I don't want it with them things on it. He didn't even know what they was called. My husband said, if I take them off, you'll fall. No, I won't. And he went on and on and on. In the end, he took them off. He said, go on then. He said, if you fall off, don't come crying to me. And he just got on it and round and round and round he went. Down on that path downstairs. He loved cycling.
Why do you think that was?
It's in the genes, isn't it?
Sammy, you all right?
Hello, Brad.
How you doing?
All right. How are you?
She doesn't like being on camera, does Maureen?
No, I don't think any of my lot do. I started doing well as a junior. The results used to be in Cycling Weekly, and they used to get back to Australia somehow. So he went back through some old diaries and found me nan's number, which hadn't changed, and he rang her up one day out of the blue. He actually was doing all right at that time. He had a steady job as a removals man. He'd remarried, he had a kid. I actually went and met him as well, but soon found out I didn't really like the person. I took him to a few dinners and things, and he got blind drunk, bringing up the past, you know, I wish I hadn't done it, you know, if I could make up for 18 years I would, you know, and all this. It's like looking after a big kid. So I just sort of lost contact. Well, I just ignored him, basically, and that was it. We never spoke again, you know, so that was 10 years ago now.
I got a phone call from a bloke, never knew this bloke from Adam. Just rang me up and said, listen, I believe you're the man to talk to regarding Gary Wiggins. I need someone to get a message to his son.
What had happened to Gary?
I believed he'd had a bit of a kicking.
Well, it's still unclear, but as far as I know, he got murdered a couple of years ago, and there's still an ongoing case for that. His sister's trying to bring justice to him and the people that did it. But he was involved with a lot of bad people and bad crowds, and he went to a house party and something happened and he got struck over the head and his kind of body got dumped somewhere.
He was living in a hostel, and they found in the hostel, in his room, this scrapbook, you know, of all pictures of Bradley, you know, that he had, you know. But he had to do this from afar, like, you know. Yeah, it's very sad, isn't it?
I don't know whether that's supposed to make me feel better or, oh, bless him, you know, bless his little socks or whatever, but...
Did you go to the funeral?
No, I didn't, because again, you know, I didn't feel like he was my dad, really. I wasn't emotionally attached to him in any way. If anything, he'd made my life a bit of a misery at play, you know. By then, I had my own wife, my own children. You know, he wasn't there for me. I ain't flying out to Australia and back in 3 or 4 days. I've got the Worlds in 3 weeks' time. I don't regret it to this day, not going, to be honest. So, that was that.
Go too deep, the
yeah, but
higher
that's all right. You just say slow down, Shane.
I've got 2 riders set on me. I ain't going to say slow down. I'll lose face.
Oh, lose face. Them? It ain't about them, it's about you.
Well, I'm the leader. I can't show any weakness.
I'm riding in front of him, and this power meter tells us how hard he's working behind me. And as he gets here, we haven't even started yet, he's moaning.
He looks like a pizza delivery boy, doesn't he?
This is the sort of I have to put up with on a daily basis, but you know, just water off a duck's bum.
You talk to him at all while he's
Nah, don't talk to him, he's invisible. You just do the work. The less you know, the more you say, the more you... Do you know what I mean? You say the wrong thing, because these guys are on the edge. You know, I mean, this is a big session today, a hard session. It's quite a big day, John. These are the days that determine whether you're good or great.
Are you able to describe the experience of what it's like going up one of those climbs?
The best way of describing it is if someone's holding your head underwater in a swimming pool. Your ears kind of pop. All you're hearing is kind of like a dull hissing sound. So the further you go up the climb, the air's getting thinner and thinner. Obviously, you're making more and more effort, and you just can't take any more. All you want to do is just pull the plug, and you can't.
Come on, head up now, head up. Just concentrate on the bike, come on. Come on, let's go over the top. Come on. Come on all the way, mate, come on. Come on, mate, take it home now, come on. Good lad, good lad. To put it into perspective, Tim rode up there the other day and he's in pretty good shape for a normal bloke in about 47, 48 minutes. He's just ridden up the same distance in, what, 30 minutes. Not like Tim's going to come out and win the Tour of Britain tomorrow, but he's still in pretty good nick. Have a look at him, you know. You know, does a painter ever paint his own house?
Yeah, it's bloody hard, that, you know. If we trained as athletes, no one in this group would be able to push me to that degree where I get the best each day of myself. So we use the motorbike to really pull you out. And it's like just a K to go there, the motorbike dropped me, you know. When you get in the Tour, you become the motorbike and they can't hang on to you, so. Flies. And we should be flying by the time we get to the Tour. Just got to stay upright.
Numbers looking good?
This guy, this one, yeah. Compared to last year, yeah, miles ahead.
It's a pretty good team as well.
Yeah, we're going to have a good team. We haven't picked it yet. How do you know? Tell me what the team is, John.
Well, I've got my thoughts.
I don't know the team. If you could let me know, it'd be good. You know, considering I'm one of the selectors, it'd be good to get an insight from you. Right, see you down there. Good day, boys.
When we met at the beginning of the year, you wondered if last year might have been his chance to win the Tour. How do you think now?
Impressive, mate. I won't catch him now. If I'm now looking at the physical capabilities of our boy now to where he was last year, I'll see that we've made gains, and that means the rest of the field are going to have to step up to match him. Maybe we haven't missed our chance.
Et sur la plus haute marche du podium, comme il y a un an, le prestigieux champion britannique Bradley Wiggins. Bradley Wiggins qui rejoint donc le podium, qui adresse ses félicitations donc au deuxième et au troisième. Voilà donc monsieur Jean-Claude Carme, donc vice-président du Sénat, qui va remettre trophées et médailles également. Georges Cotillard, le président.
Won again.
Won again, yeah. So, bloody good, isn't it? I mean, yeah.
Not bad for a boy from Dibden House.
From Kilburn, yeah. Which is what I keep saying in press conferences, you know, like, kids from Kilburn don't win the Tour de France, you know. You had to be from these exotic climbs, or Paris, Nice, Italy, Spain, you know, all these places, really, when you were reading them as a kid, you know, and so to be up there, you know, it's quite nice, really. If you'd have said I'd have been in this position now when we spoke last December, I'd say I wouldn't have believed you, but I mean, I'd have took it, that's for sure.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mrs. Fletcher and everyone.
Some of our older children have done some research to find out about what Mr. Wiggins has done to make him quite so special.
Mr. Wiggins started racing at the age of 12 years old, just a little bit older than me. Bradley was presented with a CBE by the Queen in 2009.
He has also won the Tour de Romandie and last week won the Criterium de Dauphiné race for the second year running.
What's this then?
We have made you a card and everybody has signed it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to make this wonderful card.
I've got a song for you. We've tried to find a song that fitted in with what you're about to do. We talk about climbing mountains. We know a lot of mountains to climb on your bike.
There is something I can sense deep within her dreams to guide me, and I know that I am reaching for my goal. I can do anything at all. I can climb the highest mountain if I can just
Good luck from everybody. Can we have another round of applause, please?
Thank you. Thank you.
How many of these have you covered?
This is my 22nd. I think the main thing you have to appreciate with the Tour de France is that unlike most sports events, it goes around an entire country from place to place. A major sports event comes and just lands in your town for a day or 2 days and then moves on to the next.
Le Tour de France, c'est un vrai lieu de pression. Sur le Tour de France, vous avez 200 cyclistes, mais vous avez plus de 2000 journalistes. C'est-à-dire que la pression, elle est bien réelle, elle est forte. Les journalistes sont juste à côté de vous, juste à côté des champions. Bien plus près qu'à Wimbledon ou à Roland-Garros, où voilà, on fait en sorte que les joueurs soient là et les journalistes là-bas. Là, sur le Tour de France, tout est beaucoup plus mélangé.
You'd probably be happy to do without all of this. You seem really chilled, you seem ready to go. Is this mentally the best shape you've been in as well?
I'm just very, very confident of where I'm at, and all the numbers of the stuff we've done this week suggest I'm in the form of my life. It's nice to have your own thoughts and everything, you know, before, you know, like that, because it was early, it was just mad, you know, and it's just nice to come back to this and sort of reality almost, you know. It's not really reality down there, you know.
What do you think about?
Nothing to do with cycling. I was like looking at this before, my daughter gave me it before I went away, you know, and so then I just started thinking of stuff like that, you know, and it's a gold medal, by the way. You know, just little things. I was sticking some stickers on my helmet and stuff.
The guy who founded the prologue described it as like in a Shakespearean play where you introduce the actors to the crowd. It sets the tone until the first major sort out, which will come a week on Monday in the time trial. That's your first big set piece, if you like. That's the scene in the Shakespearean tragedy where the first big murder happens. So Macbeth, it's like where he kills Duncan, basically. But the prologue, all it does is set up that initial hierarchy, so you can say, in theory, Bradley's the best.
you think Bradley will win?
I think he has a very good chance of winning. But to do that, he needs many things to go right.
Superbe doublé, mesdames et messieurs, le départ pour Bradley Wiggins, formation Sky, le multiple champion olympique et champion du monde.
Surely he's going to go inside the time here of Sylvain Chavanel. He is in first place. Fabian Cancellara is on a ride. Best time 7:13.46. Cancellara will, for the 5th time, walk off with a yellow jersey for tomorrow's opening day of the Tour de France.
It's a triumph. It's an absolute triumph. It's the best second place he's ever had. You don't want Bradley to win that yellow jersey. You want it to be on the shoulders of somebody who's strong enough to keep it for a little while, so the race is stable and structured.
You're going to be shouting at you all week, mate.
One Bradley Wiggins! There's only one Bradley.
Not winning the yellow jersey yesterday meant he got to his hotel probably an hour earlier than he would have otherwise. It meant this morning he can lie in bed and do nothing if he wants. So not getting that yellow jersey yesterday is a big result.
Look, they're having breakfast. Fascinating. We don't see this in Belgium.
That first week is the most dangerous in the Tour de France.
Oh, there's been a crash on the road here.
It's very unpredictable. You know, I think you can do everything possible to be as physically the best you can be, all the training, all the months of training that, but one crash like last year and you're out the race.
Very stunned from this crash.
The problem is everybody knows that it's nervous, therefore the safest place to be is at the front. It's their trouble, therefore everybody tries to go to the front, and then there's a crash, and that makes everybody more nervous, so they think, right, we've got to go to the front now, so they take more risks to get to the front, and it's self-fulfilling.
Who's fallen off, who's lost time, who's had a bad day.
There's a lot of damage being done in the peloton. But big contenders, Cadel Evans is safe. Bradley Wiggins is safe.
It felt a bit fraught. There was obviously a lot of crashes, but it felt like Bradley was riding in quite an isolated manner.
Yeah, it felt like Sky didn't have a grip on it, but I think the point is that Sky brought a team to the race that was designed for a specific purpose, which was to look after Brad in the mountains. Sky's hired a lot of guys who are good enough to lead teams in their own right. I mean, you know, guys like Richie Porte, Mick Rogers, Chris Froome could all lead a team in their own right. And he can't win the Tour without them. That's what's going to make the interest of the Tour, I think, whether they hold it together for 10 days.
Michael Rogers still breaking this field up and discharging good riders now out the back.
It wouldn't be possible for someone to win the Tour de France without having a team of committed guys who sacrifice their chances in the race for their leader.
Bradley Wiggins is now sitting in 3rd position, comfortably as you like, with his teammates in front of him.
The huge thing in cycling is the wind. If you're in someone's slipstream, you can save up to 40% of energy behind them. So you're doing 40% less work than the guy in front of you.
Now it's up to the man born in Kenya, in the continent of Africa, Chris Froome.
Team Sky, one by one, has written most people out of the script.
Nibali and Cadel, that's it. Come, boys.
It's quite romantic, isn't it, this notion of the domestique? You're like sort of worker bees working for the Queen.
It doesn't feel romantic.
This is the move by Cadell Evans now. Has he caught Wiggins? Wiggins is hanging on. Look at the face of Wiggins here as he tries to take the back wheel, and look at Chris Froome. Chris Froome is stealing the stage, and Wiggins is going to be the next leader of the Tour.
Good job, boys. Froome wins. Front in yellow. Yes.
Bradley Wiggins bows his head to the crowd on top of a mountain in the middle of the Haute-Saône region of France. He pulls on the maillot jaune.
What's more important, Phil, is the team seem to be ready as well.
And we have Chris Froome, who's been fantastic. You kind of like Batman and Robin.
I'm Batman, though. I'm Batman.
You're going to be Batman. Now, how important will he be for the next
Well, I said it, you know, he's invaluable. I mean, we saw how he went at the Vuelta last year. He's going to be a big part of this jigsaw in the next couple of weeks, so.
Have you seen the yellow jersey?
I have seen the yellow jersey. I would not touch it. I'm glad that he wasn't there when I saw it, because I was sobbing. I was really crying, upset. And well, not upset, of course not upset. It's just because I grew up watching it as well.
Do you come out to many tours?
No, I hardly ever. I've hardly ever been on them. I don't want to get in the way.
Why did you decide to come this time?
Because it was a rest day and it was just, he asked me to, so I did.
Come out, you know.
Yeah.
She said, I don't want to get in the way. So you need to come and get in the way. Because you'll be the only person who wants to talk to me
About something else.
the weather or, you know, other than
Yeah.
like all them people over there. Going, Bradley Wiggins là-bas. It's like being in a goldfish bowl, you know? Like the other day when we sat in that restaurant eating and they're all looking through the window. You know, it's just, it's not normal. It's not reality. It is just a bike race.
I mean, you say that, you're wearing the yellow jersey.
Yeah. And I realise what that means, and I'm a fan at heart.
That man's over there with the camera.
All right?
Are you? It is a bubble.
And she said to me earlier, like, there's been cameras coming around the village looking for us and at home. She's saying we might not be able to go home after the tour, you know that, don't you? And I'm like, no, we're going home.
Yeah.
I'm going home, and I'm having a coffee in the morning from my own coffee machine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk around naked around the house. You know, I don't care who's filming or taking pictures in the garden.
Oh no, Brad.
You know, a Monday afternoon, because all I've been looking forward to for the last couple of weeks is going home. I'm taking Ben to this summer rugby camp in the afternoon on Monday afternoon.
Because that's our reality.
And the day she can pour me a goldfish bowl of vodka tonic.
A vodka tonic, yeah.
Finally, what would you say to him before he goes out on a stage like this?
The less you say, the better. You don't need to say anything. This guy, look at him, he's a robot. Look at him. He's a machine. The only thing you can normally do is to totally up if you say too much. You know, he will wobble, but he won't wobble in this particular scenario today because he knows he's one of the best in the business at this. So I just give him a pat on the back and say, come on, this is what you're good at, do you?
Quite a big moment, isn't it, really? He might have been down the second British guy to win a title on the Tour de France. And the first to win one in the yellow jersey.
If Froome beats Wiggins, that's very interesting. You know, they're suddenly in a dilemma with two leaders. What if that happens? All bets are off, mate.
Probably the most important time trial of his life.
It's looking good, Brad, just let it flow.
What a performance by Chris Froome. This is a bonus for Team Sky.
Froome, huh?
He's going well, boy. Come on, son. Better give him Froome his time now.
16 seconds up on Froome.
This is going to be the time of the day.
This is freaking epic.
He's going to increase his lead tonight as he wins the stage.
35 seconds in front of Froome, who took second. Come on.
Bradley Wiggins today has proven to us all that he is a solid leader of this Tour de France. There we go.
Look, it says, attack me. Attack me with my tea. We have this thing, every time he goes away, I buy him a very ostentatious, very British teacup. And this is his teacup.
Well, Bradley Wiggins driving at the front now, as he can, and Frank Schleck coming up behind him there.
You must stay with Bradley at all times, Froomey.
Looking at the yellow jersey at the moment, but take a look over his shoulder. Cadell Evans is looking to be in trouble here.
Come on, Froomey. I think Cadell's cracking. He's cracking. He's cracked. He's cracked. Push, 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 push. He's cracked. He's gone. He's gone.
Evans is beginning to struggle on the back wheel of Bradley Wiggins.
What a sterling job of work being done by Chris Froome as he just sits at the front there.
Avec, et attaque de Froome, attaque de Christopher Froome.
And look at Froome now, who's really hammering it.
He's attacking.
Froomey, I'm hoping you got the OK from Bradley for that.
Bradley Wiggins has been left behind.
Does Froome know what he's doing with that acceleration?
Froomey, Bradley's hurting.
He's just got the word from the team management. You put your own team leader into a spot of bother here, young man.
What's going on?
Just sit up and wait for him.
He was told to go back and locate Bradley Wiggins. He has done.
Was Chris Froome did he just get carried away? Was he testing the water?
Well, I don't really know, to be honest, what he was doing. But there was clearly some misunderstandings and some not following of orders.
What is the truth about the team? I mean, are you at each other's throats behind the scenes, or
Not at all.
Managing such talent can't be easy.
You know, what we do well is we race as a team. We've raced as a team well all year together, and that's why we're in this position now.
Was Froome attacking his leader?
Yeah, it was one of those moments when we were all watching the race and we just went like this. What's he just done? Because it wasn't just the Froome acceleration, it was the simultaneous wobble by Wiggins, the first one of this tour. The first time he's looked vulnerable was when his own teammate attacked. You know, you couldn't make it up, really.
But his job is to ride for Bradley Wiggins, isn't it?
Job, schmob. This is the very odd thing about cycling. It's a team sport at the professional level, but none of these guys come into cycling to be team players. They're not team players. They're individuals with their own ambitions and egos.
There's always going to be talk of rivalry and people trying to dramatize everything, but that's not how it is, and I know that it's not the case, and I know I'm not trying to attack Brad for the yellow jersey or anything like that, so to me it's almost just it's water off a duck's back.
I'm surrounded by incredibly talented bike riders, including Chris Froome. I mean, the guy, is capable of winning the Tour for sure. Otherwise, he wouldn't be second overall in the Tour de France.
To people who don't know a lot about road cycling, it can be quite complicated. Suddenly people saying, well, why can't Chris Froome win it?
Bradley has got more experience. He's time trialling better. Bradley's won more races this year. He's got, he's been through all of that. And I think, if you're going to back somebody to try and win this race, you'd back Bradley.
And so Chris will ride for Bradley?
Correct, yeah. So he'll sacrifice his own chances to try and support Bradley, should the need arise.
Two ambitions when I started cycling when I was a kid. I wanted to win Olympic gold and wear the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. I was riding around Regent's Park as a kid and going up that hill out of Crystal Palace on a Tuesday night after racing and thinking I was in the Tour de France and stuff.
why I struggled so much in 2010 was this not accepting this role of being a leader, and whereas now I just thought, if I want to win the Tour de France, I've got to take the responsibility and sort of head the race, really, and I kind of really enjoy the role now.
Si vous montrez le maillot jaune, un peu partout dans le monde, vous savez que c'est le Tour de France. C'est pas une autre course. Donc c'est un honneur, mais c'est aussi une charge. Surtout quand on a le désir, la volonté de porter ce maillot jaune jusqu'au bout, jusqu'à Paris, jusqu'aux Champs-Élysées.
There was some chatter in the Twitter sphere who say that you have to be doped up to win the Tour de France.
I cannot be doing with people like that. And it's easy then to sit under a pseudonym on Twitter and write that sort of rather than get off their asses in their own life and apply themselves and work hard at something and achieve something.
They got the cheek to say, well, you cheated. See, my own children, like, that's what I sort of do it for ultimately, you know, and I want them to sort of be proud of me and look up to me. When I'm older, when they're in their 20s or whatever, and they say, you won the Tour de France, but you tested positive for, you know, what happened there, you know. I won't ever have to explain that to him. So to me, it's just not worth doing it. And the way the village is erupted at the moment, because I'm doing well in Eccleston, and I had to go into that school and sit in front of all them children, and they give me that card and that. So then to go back to that school in months to come, subsequently having been found with drugs, this, that and the other, would I even go through that whole process before all that if there was a risk that I might actually get caught for doing this? So it's simple, don't do it. That means more to me than this here. This is just spite race, it's nothing, it's not life, it's not reality.
You're making a lot of people happy with it.
Yeah, he's just gone. He's got his rhythm down.
These are all Spanish supporters here, and it's Valverde of Spain who leads the Tour to the summit.
But now all of a sudden, look at the face here on this man.
I thought I saw Chris Froome then accelerate, and he's launched a little bit of lifting of the pace here.
We need to ride together, don't they? Okay. Stay together, you two, at all times, okay? Come on, Brad, hang in there, we're almost there.
Great Britain has never known a Tour de France like this in its 99-year history.
1 kilometre and it's over.
Two British riders completely dominating the Tour de France in the Pyrenees. They stay 1 and 2.
L'étape de jour, ce qu'il a fait, Christopher Froome, qui a été intraitable dans le final, rejoint et l'accueille à Brad Wiggins.
All right. Joy of my life the last 3 weeks. You all right?
I'm good, how are you?
Nice, yeah. Feels pretty good.
Nearly there.
We are nearly there. Come on. Come a long way, haven't we, since that training in that shed in December.
Say that the Tour de France in its 99th edition had become a personal battle between two British cyclists. Wiggins knows now he is a matter of 53 kilometres away from being the first British winner of the Tour de France. 16:49, that's 11 seconds quicker than Froome.
Remember the little chicane here, nice line, flow through it.
now it is 1:15 over Chris Froome.
You're making history here, come on. Wiggins superb. You've got 75 metres of flat and you're over the line. Come on, cadence, cadence, cadence.
It's a winning ride to win the Tour de France as Bradley Wiggins licks his lips in anticipation and punches the sky.
Look at that, that's the first real sign we've had of emotion from Bradley Wiggins since we left Liège about 3 weeks ago.
Maillot jaune, le petit lion, et un autre bouquet, celui du public, pour Bradley Wiggins. Maillot jaune du Tour de France.
I do want to say something about Bradley because I feel like I was a little bit hard on him in a way. Coming into this tour, I did wonder if the media responsibilities, that constant attention, that pressure, might be the thing that defeated him. I thought he might crack under that, and the opposite has happened. He's thrived.
I know it can be a pain in the times with the press, but I just wanted to say thanks to everyone for the last couple of weeks, you know, for putting up with me. My mood swings at times and what have you, and that's it really. Just say thanks for everything. All right, cheers.
There's no more challenges on this route for him now, just champagne on the streets of France.
How will you feel when you see Brad up on that podium later on today?
Proud, man. It's not that. I mean, we got a normal guy, but you know, living with Mum, and you know, I was out for dinner with them last night and just doing his stuff. And maybe when he pulls up at home and has trouble getting into his own house, he might understand, you know, hang on a second, this isn't going to be normal for a while.
Team Sky bring them home here.
Bradley Wiggins, Phil, only needs to finish in the main field and get the same time as everybody else to win the Tour de France here this afternoon.
In about 5 minutes' time, he'll be the first British winner. He goes around beneath the flags. At that point, Mark Cavendish, though, moving safely up the near side now. It's concentration. He is the fastest road finisher in the world. Wiggins, the leader and soon-to-be winner of the Tour de France, moves into second place behind Michael Rogers. Edvard Boysenhagen.
Okay, afterburners, come on, Bradley. Wind it up.
And now Bradley Wiggins, the winner of the Tour de France, is moving Edvard Boysenhagen in front of Mark Cavendish.
Come on, Brad, that's fantastic. They crack. Come on, Eddie.
This is a brilliant lead-up by the champion of Norway on Team Sky. Boysenhagen, it's a perfect for Mark Cavendish.
You got it.
He makes it look all too easy, but gets 4 out of 4 wins in the last 4 years in Paris. The perfect Tour de France for Great Britain.
To ride round on the lap of honour with us. Yeah.
You're about to go on to the Champs-Elysees and be presented with the yellow jersey.
Yeah. Phenomenal, isn't it? We're just going to draw the raffle numbers now. Some dreams come true. And my old mother over there, her son's won the Tour de France. So, thank you everyone. Cheers. Have a safe journey home, don't get too drunk.
Ce maillot-là, c'est un maillot qui se mérite. C'est de la sueur, du sang, des larmes pour réussir à avoir le maillot. C'est pour Bradley la chute et la fracture de l'année d'avant. Ce sont des années d'entraînement. C'est sa transformation de roi de la piste, champion du monde, champion olympique, à vainqueur du Tour de France. Ce sont des années d'entraînement, des années de souffrance pour avoir ce maillot-là, le maillot jaune.
Hello, good evening. Bradley Wiggins has won the Tour de France.
It's only one
You'd never have so many British cycling fans gathered here to see the end of this famous race.
There are moments in sport when a nation asks, where were you when?
And in 5 days, no less, Bradley Wiggins will be competing in his home Olympics.
I never quite anticipated that it would be this this huge. We've got police on the end of the lane checking who's coming up the lane because of the media congregating down there, people wanting photos and autographs and whatever, and we had to ring the police, and people follow me when I'm on my bike, and it's strange that because it's what I've done every day for the last 15 years with no one batting an eyelid. We went to the Ritz for champagne with all the chief execs of Sky. Get to the airport, first thing Ben says to me is, "Dad, I need a poo." Took him to the toilet, emptied his bowels, the smell, Dad wiped my arse, and that was right back down to earth with a bang. You know, the child in me a little bit keeps sort of thinking, "I sod the Olympics, you know. I want to go there and win it, but I don't want to be part of all the Lord Coe and his band of merry men." But in terms of the support and that, I'm really looking forward to it because I think it's going to be an incredible event.
Wiggins gets underway. What an incredible experience to be riding on the roads of London, surrounded by hundreds of thousands of British fans.
Here comes Bradley Wiggins. Wiggins is going to go into the lead.
In cycling circles, obviously people know who I am, but outside of that, I was relatively unknown. I left home 6 weeks ago and I've come back and things have changed.
And it's looking like it's going to be gold today. It's gold and gold for Bradley Wiggins. His 4th gold medal.
Every day's been mapped out by my coaches and whatever all the way up to now, and I don't know what the next sort of week, I was just sort of going with the flow at the moment.
Cavs on the telly, like, talking about bunch races.
The weirdest thing is, I mean, how far it's gone out to different walks of life, you know. I got an email from Elton John. He was watching the whole thing in France, loved it. So this is where it all started. I was born in this very room. Not quite, but it sounds good, doesn't it, Jay? When we had nothing...
And has it changed much coming back into this flight?
Not really, no. Some of this stuff's been here since I was a kid.
It's good, you got tattoos.
No, it has, isn't it? Like, that port and all that. And, because I remember this is as exactly as it was when I was a kid, so 30-odd years. And, like, things like this, look at that. Aperitif.
Yeah, all day.
She'd have killed over if she had some of that. I bought her that years ago when we come back from holiday. It's supposed to be her, look. A bit dusty. Sorry.
Have you found people acting differently with you over the last few days?
I'm overwhelmed at the adulation they give you and some of the things they say. That's hard to take, you know. People use the word legend a lot, but they have certainly been saying that a lot to me, you know, and I don't feel like a legend, you know. And I'm still from fairly humble beginnings, you know, all this. And Kath said to me a while ago, "Oh, you're not going to change, or you're not going to leave us now for some supermodel and all this." And, you know, just think it's like, No, why would I? You know, it's like... So I am determined to remain as normal as possible, you know, and not... Because, as I say, it happens to people, you know, they get successful and they start believing the hype or whatever, and then your life changes a lot, you know, and how people perceive you and stuff, but... I've got, you know, a great family, and I still come back to this, you know. I mean, Nan would never let me do that, you know, sort of turn up in a white roller and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And so, yeah.
Is this Kenny now?
No, this is...
It's a brand.
Come on. Oh. I like this the best, but don't tell anybody. Track racing. Oh, God.
So, yeah. You make me a tea, no?
Do you want one?
Please, yeah.
Take sugar.
Next on Sky, brand new Boardwalk Empire here on Sky Atlantic. Robbie Williams live, Take the Crown from the O2 on Sky 1 HD, followed by both bits of the James Corden interview. We'll catch up with Freddie Flintoff from Lords to the Ring over on Sky 2.